Hope you're having a great day. This is Wednesday, and so we're going to jump right back in and do a Rashi from the fourth Aliyah of Parshas Yitro. We talked yesterday a little bit about the progression of the parsha of the aliyos in the parsha. We talked about first aliyah when Yisro arrives. We talked about the second aliyah when Yisro notices the problem that's happening to Moshe in terms of the judicial system, disparity between Moshe and the people. And then we talked about the third aliyah, which we actually didn't look at in terms of the Rashi yesterday. We cheated a little bit, borrowing from Rashi really from the fourth aliyah. But yesterday we spoke about how in the third aliyah that plan is actually implemented and a different judicial system begins with Moshe at the helm. And the fourth aliyah, as we looked at a little bit yesterday, we have the description of Bnei Yisrael's arrival at Har Sinai. We talked about Bayom Hazeh, they come on that day, as if the Torah should be new to us every single day. The novelty of Torah should never wear off. We talked about Vayichan Sham Yisrael Neged Har. We talked about the fact that when they encamped in the desert, they were encamped as a plurality, Vayachanu. But when they encamped by Har Sinai, they were encamped as one, Vayichan in the singular, Ki ish echad, b'lev echad, united in terms of purpose at that particular moment. So let's look at the next psukim now for our Rashi today, which is a beautiful and famous Rashi, which is an image that appears multiple places in the Torah. After we know that the Jewish people are encamped there, the Torah tells us Moshe Allah El HaElokim. Moshe actually goes up and ascends the mountain to God to get the Torah. And Hashem calls out to him, Vayikra elav Hashem min ha'ar le'mor, ko tamar lebeit Yaakov v'taged libnei Yisrael. Here's the words that you're supposed to speak to the Jewish people. And before getting to the details, and way before even getting to the 10 Commandments, which we're going to see later in the Parsha, Hashem gives Moshe, in order to give over to the Jewish people, what I believe to be kind of the motto, the broad goal and mission statement of this experience of Matan Torah and of the whole relationship between God and the Jewish people. That mission statement is as follows: Atem re'isem asher asisi l'Mitzrayim. You've seen all the wonders that I did in Egypt. Va'asaschem al kanfei nesharim v'ave'eschem elai. I've carried you on the wings of eagles, and I brought you to this point. So he's telling the Jewish people, your story began in Egypt. You saw that I saved you. You saw I did miracles. You saw I brought you now to this high point of Matan Torah. And now the purpose of being here, the purpose of your encampment in this place, the purpose of the experience you're about to have is, if you listen to me and my words, ushmartim es brisi, keep the covenant that we're about to enter into, and if you do all that, you're going to be a skula for me, a treasure for me from amongst all the nations, more than all the other nations. I have dominion over the entire world. All the peoples of the world are mine, but you're going to be my crown jewel. You're going to be my skula. This relationship is going to be qualitatively different than the relationship I have with anybody else. Atem tiyuli mamlechas kohanim v'goy kadosh. You're going to be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. To the Beral Bnei Israel. These are the words you're going to say to Bnei Israel. I think what Hashem is giving Moshe is like the synopsis. You want the 2-second version, the elevator pitch for everything that's about to come. The rest of Matan Torah, this is it. What we're about to do is enter a relationship. And this is a special relationship. And this is a different relationship. And it's one that's going to elevate you to the incredible heights of the status of a Goy Kadosh, a holy nation, a Mamlechas Kohanim, a nation of priests, etc., etc. That's the pitch. That's the mission statement. That's the essence, the tamtzit of this moment of Matan Torah. The original intro over here talks about their transition from Egypt to this point of Har Sinai, and God describes it as if it's the journey of carrying them on the wings of eagles, al kanfei nisharim. And Rashi explains what the symbolism of that image is, that God carries us like the eagle on its shoulders, carries something on its shoulders. Kenesher hanose goes alav al kanafav. God is telling us that he's carrying us on his shoulders like the eagle carries its young, its chicks, on its shoulders. What's so special about that? Shekol shar ofos nostim es b'neihem bein ragleim. All other birds carry their young in their feet, in the clutches of their feet, which are underneath their body. Why do they do that? Because they want to protect their young. They want to protect their children. And when they're cuddled up kind of in their feet underneath their body, if you imagine the way a bird is flying, so if it's capturing its young under its feet, they're underneath the body. So they're protected by the body of the mother bird, because the bird is worried that arrows are going to be flying at it, that different projectiles are going to be flying at it, different dangerous things are going to be flying at it, and coming from this way and from that way and landing on its back. And so it cuddles its young underneath it to protect them so that nothing can get at them. But the difference with the nesher is as follows. Aval hanesher, the eagle, eino misyara elamin ha'adam, shema yizrok bo chetz. The eagle fears nobody but human beings who might throw an arrow at it. Because no birds are flying above it. It's the highest, it's the tallest, so to speak. It's the most powerful bird. It flies above all other creatures. The only danger is what's coming at it from underneath, not what's coming at it from on top. And therefore, the safest place for a nesher, for an eagle to put its young, is not underneath it, because everything is underneath it. If someone shoots an arrow, it's going to hit the children, which are underneath its body. But the safest place to put them is on its back, on its wings, on top of it, where they are untouchable. Amar, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu does that for us, saying, Mutav yikanes hachetz bi velo bibni. The eagle says, if the children are on my back and I'm at the height above everything else, then the only danger is from above. And let whatever comes from below and hit me instead of hitting my children. My children be protected on top of my body. Let anything that comes at me from below hit me. I'll take the bullet, so to speak. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says with us, I'm going to carry you. I did carry you from Egypt into this point, and I'll carry you forward on the wings, on my wings, on my shoulders, above me, as if to say God is above everything else, so to speak, in the world. And if anything comes at us, it'll come to God first. God will absorb the shock and the danger before it ever reaches us while we are on its back. I can give various examples of the way God carries us like this. Rashi cites different examples in order to prove this image. This image, as I said, appears multiple places in the Torah. And at the end of the day, it's just the most beautiful, loving, caring image of HaKadosh Baruch Hu carrying us. Number one, the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu carries us is already so sweet and so beautiful and so loving. The fact that God carries us in a way that protects us, in a smart way that protects us, is even more loving and caring and beautiful than that. And the final level is that the fact that God not only carries us, and not only carries us in a way that protects us, but God is the most powerful being, so to speak. And therefore, when he carries us above him, we are absolutely untouchable. That is the most loving and beautiful and caring statement of all. It's something that we should feel comforted in. It's difficult. We live in a strange world. We don't always understand the HaKadosh Baruch Hu's ways. We don't always feel protected in the way that God describes here in the Parsha, but we do have to believe that in the totality of things, certainly us as a nation, and even us as individuals, are carried by God and protected by God in every single way possible, as if like an eagle carrying its young upon its shoulders. And hopefully that should be an inspiring thought for all of us. Have a great day, everyone, and stay warm and stay safe.